Golden Bluted back with another video just for you, the college football fan. So if you are a college football fan, go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button. Look, it's a long college football offseason, but I'm here to get you through it. Don't forget to go check out our Patreon page. A lot of time and effort going into that. And I call my Patreons the shot callers because, well, they do call the shots around here. Also, we have a great website designed and created by Joey Foster. We have 8 great writers led by head writer Michael Walker. And today we're going to talk about, well, the NCAA might actually be cracking down on this NIL nonsense as far as the actual pay for play that's been going on. Yes, it has been going on. Now, under the current NIL rules, boosters are not allowed to lure athletes with incentivized payments. They're not allowed to approach the recruits or their families or any of their representatives. But it seems like the boosters have kind of found a little loophole to that, and that's creating collectives to represent the boosters. So what the NCAA is doing, so what the NCAA decided to do is clarify the rules. And that happened on Monday. Here's what that's going to do and how it's worded. Boosters, including recently created companies designed to provide athletes of a particular school with endorsement deals, should not have any contact with prospective college athletes, their family members, or their representatives. Can't do it. The boosters, nor anybody that represents the boosters. So they're closing that loophole. Here's the new guidelines. Booster or collectives who contact recruits or sign athletes to contracts that are contingent upon a player's attendance at a particular school are breaking the NCAA rules. There it is. So it doesn't matter whether you're the actual boosters or you have a collective or a company that represents your boosters. You can't try to contact a player, their families, or their representatives and try to lure them with money or incentivized payments to come to your school. It's against the rules. That is what you call tampering, and that is what everybody has been talking about recently. And on top of that, anybody that has broken these rules within the last 10 months could have penalties. I'm talking to you, Lincoln Riley, but there's some other teams and people that I'm talking to as well. What's the purpose of this? Well, the purpose of this is to get rid of pay for play, flat out. The NIL still in full effect. Players can still make as much money as they want off their name, image, and likeness, but this pay for play crap, not going to happen according to the NCAA. We'll see if it actually stops or not. But it looks like they're actually going to try to crack down on it. Now, 24 states have passed laws that prohibit the universities and the NCAA itself from punishing the student athletes if they do accept money from a third party. So the athletes aren't going to get punished. No, it's going to be the universities or maybe the coaches. On top of that, athletes could also file lawsuits against the NCAA for limiting their ability or capping their endorsement capabilities if they're in a state that doesn't have laws that address college sports compensation, aka breaking antitrust laws. So as long as they don't cap the athletes, the NCAA is fine. So this isn't about limiting the amount of money that the athletes can make. No. This is about not allowing the universities, the boosters, the collectives, or the companies that represent those boosters using the money that they have as a recruiting tool for either a recruiting class or the transfer portal. Because let's face it, not all universities have the big boosters. I mean, we know Alabama, Ohio State, Oklahoma, USC, all the bigger brands, they have bigger boosters, so they're going to have more money. So if you just allow them to go around and entice players to come to their university with all their money, there's no hope for all the other universities who don't have those big boosters. This is all about evening the playing field when it comes to recruiting and the transfer portal. What they're saying is you can't approach the athletes, whether you're the booster itself or the collective or company that represents the booster. You can't approach these athletes and say, hey, come to this school and here's what you'll get. That's tampering. Can't do it. Big time penalties coming. But on top of that, National Labor Board wants to classify college basketball players and college football players as employees. So that could change some things. Now there's 2 big time examples as far as these collectives or companies getting big time players because they offered them money. And one of them happened to be former West Virginia player Hakeem Mesidor. If you tuned into my live show with Hurricane T2Y, I mentioned a player and I mentioned an actual amount. I said Miami paid Hakeem Mesidor $800,000 to come to Miami. But now it's in actual writing. One of the biggest examples is Life Wallet. That's a health app representing Miami, offered a 2-year deal worth $800,000. So that's a specific amount, and that was the amount that I mentioned before this article came out. So that's specifically talking about Hakeem Mesidor. Another big time example is the Horns for Heart, talking about Texas collective. They are offering at least $50,000 to all offensive linemen that are on scholarship. And what happened? Texas was able to start getting high caliber offensive linemen. Well, there you go. They're getting paid. And the offensive linemen do get lost in the shuffle. So, of course, $50,000 might not seem a lot for a quarterback, a wide receiver, a running back, the skill position players. But for offensive linemen, that's a big time amount. That was actually pretty smart, Texas, but now you might be in trouble for it. So those are the specific examples that we know as of right now. But other names that are popping in your head, first and foremost, I'm going to say it, Lincoln Riley. He's been able to take advantage of that transfer portal since arriving at USC. He's gotten 5-star quarterback Caleb Williams, 4-star wide receiver Mario Williams, 4-star cornerback Latrell McCutcheon, 4-star running back Travis Dye, 4-star linebacker Eric Gentry not too long ago, 4-star wide receiver Brandon Rice, and possibly 5-star wide receiver Jordan Addison. And the number floating around for Jordan Addison is $3 million. So Lincoln Riley and USC might actually end up in trouble before this thing even gets started, before they can even field this all-star team that he created from the transfer portal. But there's other names that could get mentioned. Lane Kiffin at Ole Miss, he's done great in the transfer portal. Got 5-star quarterback Jackson Dart, 4-star defensive end Jared Ivey, 4-star tight end JJ Piggs, 4-star tight end Michael Trigg, 4-star linebacker Tony Brown, 4-star offensive tackle Mason Brooks, 4-star safety Ladarius Tennyson, and 4-star running back Zach Evans. I'm also thinking about Brian Kelly at LSU. Man, he's beefed up that roster through the transfer portal ever since arriving at LSU. He must be a great coach, or he might be cheating. He's gotten 4-star quarterback Jaden Daniels, 4-star cornerback Jarek Bernard, 4-star defensive lineman Molly Wingo, 4-star cornerback Greg Brooks Jr., 4-star safety Joe Faucia. There's also some other names that are kind of flying under the radar, but I'm still going to mention them. And the first one, Alabama fans are going to hate me for it, Nick Saban at Alabama. He's got the number 5 transfer portal class for 2022, and he's also got the number 2 recruiting class for 2022. Could some of that be illegal through the boosters and the collectives or the companies of Alabama? Shane Beamer over there at South Carolina bringing in transfers left and right. Is he doing it legally though? Mario Cristobal at Miami. I know for a fact getting Hakeem Mesidor was against the NCAA rules. They specifically mentioned that without mentioning the name of Hakeem Mesidor. It just so happened that the amount matched the amount that I was mentioning before it even came out. We also have Chip Kelly at UCLA. Number 6 in the transfer portal at UCLA is something up over there. Then, of course, Steve Sarkisian at Texas, the number 8 transfer class. And, of course, I already talked about the Horns for Heart offering $50,000, at least $50,000 to all offensive linemen that are on scholarship. Of course, that's going to bring some high-caliber offensive linemen. And then there's Jimbo Fisher, the number 1 recruiting class for 2022 for Texas A&M. And a lot of people are saying he bought that number 1 recruiting class. That could be an NCAA violation, and Texas A&M could be in trouble. So I wanted to mention all those names. Not necessarily all of those are cheating. Not saying that at all. I'm saying hopefully the boosters and the companies and the collectives didn't get involved in the recruiting process or the transfer process, or the school and or coaches could be in trouble. So hopefully it doesn't apply to your team and your coach, or you could be looking at some stiff penalties, because the NCAA is saying that they are cracking down on this. I don't know whether to take them seriously or not, because we know the NCAA is the NCAA. A lot of times there's a lot of talk and no action, but it seems like they're pretty serious about this situation. And you know what? For a team like West Virginia, we need something like this to even the playing field, because there is no way that West Virginia can match dollar for dollar for some of these big-time booster collectives and companies that are paying these players to come play for them. So maybe, just maybe, this will even the playing field. Y'all let me know in the comments section what you think about this situation. That's all I got for this show. Like and subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you on the next show.